Pull up a chair. This one's worth sitting with. There's a woman standing in her kitchen, watching the rain come down. It is prom night. Her son, Oakley, is upstairs getting ready, 18 years old, and she is doing the thing she has always done, trying to manage all of it. The dinner reservation the kids never made, the downpour they are about to run through in their good clothes, the whole night she cannot control and desperately wants to. Her daughter watches her tighten. Then her daughter grabs her by the arm and says 2 words. Let them. That is it. Let them go to the little taco place. Let them get soaked. Let them have the prom they want, not the one you are trying to build for them. So the mother lets go. She watches her son run out into the storm, mud splashing up his date's gown, ruining his brand new shoes, and she does not say a word.
That woman is Mel Robbins, and that one moment in the rain became a book called The Let Them Theory, a book that has now sold more than 8 million copies. 2 small words that took over the internet.
You have probably said them yourself by now. A coworker gets the promotion you wanted. Let them. Someone talks about you behind your back. Let them. The ex looks happy without you. Let them. And it feels like relief for about a day.
Now here is something most people skip right over. Mel Robbins did not invent these 2 words. People have been saying, let them, for as long as people have been hurting each other. A poet was writing them online before the book ever existed. And long before that, 2,000 years ago, a man who was born a slave in the Roman Empire built an entire way of living out of this exact idea.
So if the words are that old, why does the book feel like a revelation? Because the daughter said 2 words. But the part that actually makes this whole thing work, the part that turns let them from a quiet little surrender into something that hands you your life back, is 2 more words, and almost no one talks about them.
We will get to those 2 words, the ones the slave understood better than anyone. But not yet. First, you need to see why let them, all on its own, can quietly become a trap. Because this is not about not caring. This is not about walking away from everyone who ever hurt you. This is not about letting go. This is about one question you have been answering wrong your whole life. Who, in your one and only life, actually holds the power? Start with the small stuff, the everyday, let them. Someone cuts in front of you in traffic. Let them. A friend leaves your message on read for 3 days. Let them. Your sister posts the vacation you couldn't afford this year. Let them. There is real power in it, and you feel it right away. For years, you have been carrying other people's choices around like they were your job to fix. And in one breath, you get to put the weight down. Most of what wrecks your day, you start to notice, was never your life at all. It was your reaction to someone else's. Let them. 2 words, and your shoulders drop an inch. So why doesn't the relief last? Here's the part nobody tells you. Let them, all by itself, has a quiet way of curdling. It starts as freedom. It can end as a wall. Watch how it happens. A friend lets you down, so you let them, and letting them slowly turns into never reaching out again. Your partner stops meeting you halfway, so you let them, and letting them becomes a cold, silent room where you quit trying and called it peace. You tell yourself you have risen above it all. What you have actually done is leave. You let them, yes, but somewhere in there, you also let go of the friendship, the hope, sometimes the person. And you call that strength. It isn't. It is hiding with better branding. Because 2 words that only ever point outward, at them, at what they did, at what you are releasing, can never hand you your life back. They can only help you walk away from someone else's. And a life made entirely of walking away is just a lonelier kind of prison. Stay with me, because this is the turn the whole internet missed. Mel Robbins knew this. It is right there in her own book, and it is the very thing the clips and the captions left out. She is careful to say her theory is not the same as simply letting go. Letting go ends the sentence. Her theory does not. Let them is only the first half. The second half is two more words. Let me. Let them have their opinion, and let me decide who I want to be anyway. Let them keep their distance, and let me build the kind of relationship I actually want as the kind of person I actually am. Let them misunderstand me, and let me stop spending my one life trying to fix the picture of me inside someone else's head. Do you feel the difference? The first two words tell you what is not yours. The traffic, their mood, the promotion, the opinion. You are never going to control any of it, and let them finally admits that out loud. But the second two words tell you what is yours. Your response, your effort, your direction. The person you become while everyone else does whatever they were always going to do. Let them is the exhale. Let me is the part where you stand back up. And the strange thing, the thing that should stop you cold, is that this second half, the part almost nobody quotes, is not new at all. It is the oldest survival tool human beings have. We just keep forgetting that we own it. Before we go any further, let me say one quiet thing. If you have ever let someone go and somehow ended up feeling more alone instead of more free, then this video is for you. That gap, the one between let them and let me, is exactly where most of us get stuck. If that is landing, take a second and subscribe. Not for me, for the version of you that wants to remember this. The next time your chest goes tight over something that was never yours to carry in the first place. Now, let me tell you about a young woman who was told she was the wrong everything. In 1976, a 22-year-old woman walked into a television station in Baltimore to do a job almost no one who looked like her had ever been handed. She was the new co-anchor of the 6 o'clock news, the first black woman to sit at that desk. On paper, it was a triumph. It went wrong almost immediately. The man beside her, one of the most popular anchors in the country, did not want her there. He resented her. He condescended to her, made her feel small in the gaps between segments. And the people in charge were just as blunt. They told her, to her face, that she was the wrong color, the wrong size, that she showed far too much emotion on air to ever be taken seriously. Sit with that for a second. Everything she could not change about herself, her body, her skin, her tender, feeling heart, was being held up as the reason she did not belong. This is let them at its cruelest, because she could not argue her way out of someone else's eyes. There was no speech that would make those men see her differently. So about 8 months in, they pushed her off the anchor desk, a demotion dressed up politely. They moved her to a smaller morning slot, reading little local announcements, and she later learned they had been planning to replace her for weeks. Imagine that, the quiet whisper of failure following you down the hallway. That young woman was Oprah Winfrey. And here is the part that should stop you. She did not spend the next year trying to prove those men wrong. She did not build her whole life around becoming the serious anchor they swore she could never be. She let them keep their version of her. Wrong color, wrong size, too emotional. Let them believe it. She stopped fighting for a seat that was never going to fit her anyway. But she did not stop at letting them, because let them was only the exhale. Then came the second half. Let me. Let me go find the room where I am not too much, where being warm and open and unable to hide what I feel is not the flaw. It is the whole point. They had handed her a small local talk show almost as a consolation prize, a nobody slot. And the very first time she sat in that chair and simply talked to another human being, something happened that had never once happened at that anchor desk. She felt, in her own words, lit up from the inside, alive. The thing they demoted her into became the thing she was born to do. Years later, with everything she became, she could have spun that into a tale of revenge. Instead, she says something quieter and braver. She says, plainly, that she failed in Baltimore, and that the failure is the exact place her real life began. Let them decide you are the wrong everything. Let me go become the right something, somewhere I can finally breathe. That is the whole theory, lived out by a frightened 22-year-old long before it ever had a name. But Oprah was still free. She could walk out the door and go find a better room. So let me ask you the harder question. What happens when you cannot walk out at all? When the door is locked from the outside and the chains are real? For that, we have to go back 2,000 years. His name was Epictetus. He was born around 2,000 years ago into slavery in the Roman Empire. He owned nothing, not his time, not his labor, not his own body. He walked with a lame leg his entire life. He was, by every measure the world uses, a man with no power at all. Someone else decided when he woke, where he went, what he did with his hands. And he became one of the freest human beings who ever lived. Here is what the slave understood. He drew a single line down the middle of everything that exists, and he spent his life pointing at it. On one side, the things that are not up to you. In his language, the things that are not ta'efhemin, not within your power. Your body, your reputation, what other people do, what other people think of you, whether they praise you or put you in chains. None of it, he said, is ever truly yours, so stop clutching at it. That is, let them, spoken in Greek, 18 centuries before a daughter said it in a kitchen in the rain. But Epictetus did not stop at the first half either, because on the other side of that line, he said, there is one thing, small, quiet, and completely your own. He gave it a name, a single Greek word that most people have never heard. Prohairesis, your power to choose, your response, the judgment you make about whatever happens to you. They commanded his body, they commanded his days. They could not command his prohairesis, because that is the one thing no master, no emperor, no cruelty can ever reach. That is, let me, said 2,000 years before the book. So here, finally, are the two words the daughter never said. The two words Oprah lived the day she stopped fighting for that anchor desk. The two words an enslaved man built an entire life upon, while the empire owned everything else about him. Let me. Let me keep the one thing that was always, only mine. This is not about controlling other people. This is not about winning the argument. This is not about being praised. This is about the smallest, most stubborn freedom you own. The one that survives even when everything else has been taken. And the cruel, beautiful irony is this. A slave knew that he had it. And you who can walk out of almost any door you choose, keep forgetting that you do. Every time a stranger's mood, quietly becomes your mood. Every time one person's opinion runs your entire day. Every time you hand the keys to your own life to someone who never earned it and does not even want it. You are doing the one thing Epictetus, in chains, refused to do. You are letting them and forgetting to let you. So let me leave you with 3 things to carry out of here. First, let them is only ever the map of what is not yours. The traffic, the opinion, the person who will not change. It is the relief of finally setting down a weight you were never strong enough to carry, because no one is. That part is real and it matters, but it is only half. Second, let me is where your power was the entire time, not in changing them, in choosing you, your response, your direction, the room you decide to walk toward. Epictetus had almost nothing, and he had this. Oprah lost the desk and found her whole life, and you have been holding it this entire time, without once looking down at your own hands. And third, this is the one I most want you to keep. Epictetus was in chains and free, and you can be free and still in chains. Chains you picked up yourself, one link at a time, every time you let a stranger's opinion become the lock on your own door. So hear what a slave understood, and you keep forgetting. No one holds the key to your life but you. They never have. Let them stay in their rooms and think what they think. And you, open the one door that was always yours and finally step through it. So here's my question for you, and I read every answer. What is the one let them you find hardest to let go of? Now think back to that kitchen, the rain, the boy running out into the storm in his good shoes. Let them run through the rain. And let me decide who I become while they do. Be gentle with yourself this week, and when you're ready, there'll be another one waiting. Sit with this one till then.